Day 2 of boiling. We still have probably about 35 gallons of sap to do. So we're just getting the fire started and going. We have the sap left over from yesterday, and we'll add the holding tank back on here and try to fill this back up with sap quite a bit. So Jay's grabbing some sap out of the holding tank, and we're using a pre-filter here into a food safe Tractor Supply bucket. Got it in the big tool rack on the back of our John Deere. And the fire is just getting going. So now, as he pours it out of the bucket, we'll raise the level of what we had left in here, trying a little to get to about 2 inches of depth. There's only a little bit of top ice here, not too bad. And most of this was already cooked down quite a bit. So we want to make sure to warm it all up at once.
This here is completely frozen.
Okay, so we'll have to watch to make sure that this is heated up well. Jay, I think probably add a few more boards. I put some stage there. And then we got the warming tank out here that just sits right on top of the pan. And we'll fill this up with filtered sap. And then when it gets heated and we're ready to actually drain it off to bring it inside to finish, we'll do probably 2 pre-filters and a true cloth filter out of this spigot into a regular house pot, so it can continue the process. But we're getting going. Day 2. Once we get everything up to temp here and this starts warming, we'll put this on a good steady drip. So we'll open that up a little bit. So as steam is, as this is kind of boiling off and steaming, then we're adding in as much as we're losing to keep a steady state going. This is a 2x3 WF Mason evaporator we got from Bascom's up in New Hampshire. This is the second time using it. We're third if you count the test run on Friday night, just to make sure held water, cooked off evenly, and did a high temp cook off, trying to get the temperatures going. So just starting to get some wood in there right now. Jay's trying to burn his hand off. Now the fire's going, so that should help get some temperature going. It's about 20 degrees out, Fahrenheit out right now. And with this thermometer, we need this to go all the way around and past 0. Boiling water is at 0 if we have this calibrated correctly. And it'll be like 7.5, I think. Past that is when sap will boil. We're getting closer. Takes a bit to heat up when it's cold out, but you can start to hear it. A lot less wind today, which is really nice. So just feeding the fire, and got nice clean smoke coming out. Starting to smell sweet with the steam. We are just seeing the first bubbles. You can see it through the steam. Just added some more wood. The wind is starting to pick up a little bit. So I'm gonna start the drip. It's hard to figure out what the balance is. So I'm going to start watching the level over here, which is that little opening, to make sure that we don't get down much further than where we are now. So in about 5 minutes or so, I'll check the level, because as the drip comes from the holding pan, or the warming pan, into this pan, the boiling pan, it goes through here, and then there's an opening here, and it goes back through and it starts to boil right about here, and then it will boil, and over here will start boiling too, and so it will be boiling all the way through to here. So we'll keep an eye on it. I think I'll turn this drip down a little bit more just to start. Not sure you'll be able to see that with all the steam. It smells really good. There you go. So, and then I will also start scraping off some of the foam as we go. All right, the boiling is making its way over. You can start to see through the steam again. It's not the easiest thing to video. So I've been out here for just over an hour. I just had to refill the warming bucket again and turn the warming bucket valve up. Let's see if you can see this. Got a little bit low on this side, so trying to adjust that. A little after 2 o'clock. Gonna need to add more to the warmer again. Okay. It's getting down. So we're gonna start filtering. We've got 2 pre-filters here. We're not gonna do the cloth one until we get inside because you gotta get that hot. And we're gonna start drawing off. That looks about the same as yesterday. So we're turning up the holding warming tank. We have to make sure that the level doesn't get down too low in the main pan. Oh, that seems intense. So that way it won't burn off. All right. Jay grabbed our little side table from the garden.
Let's put it over the...
Yeah. So he's gonna go grab another pot to move it inside. You can kind of see the sludge that we end up with, which is why we filter so many times. So the sun is now behind the shed. It's definitely cooling down. So I am gonna probably have to do more tomorrow for boiling off, but we shouldn't have that long of an amount for tomorrow, which is good. And it'll be a lot warmer out tomorrow too. Highs are 50s Fahrenheit, so. All right, so we'll do a little bit more off of this batch in here, then we're gonna shut the flue down, turn this all off, and take it inside and start finishing it in the kitchen. All right, so we just drew off the second bucket. So now I closed the flue and I put the pin in, and we emptied out the rest of the warming into here, making sure that the level's still high, because we don't want this to evaporate down while it's cooling down, quote unquote, to a point where it would actually burn. So taking away the oxygen from the fire, so that will put it out. And then the fire bricks and insulated fire bricks will stay warm for quite a while. So we'll continue to come back out here and check on this evening, and then we'll cover it with tin foil, and then with a tinfoil covered plywood piece, and then this 2x over here will go on top to hold that plywood in place, and I will finish boiling tomorrow. So we moved inside. We've got 2 pots going here, and then we're going to filter into these guys and then let the niter settle for a couple days, and then we'll pour these and actually bottle going forward. This is the sap from yesterday, so you can see the niter on the bottom. We didn't filter these as much, but it settles pretty quickly. So we need this to go to, what, 7.5 degrees above our water boiling point?
218.
So 218 for us here. And we put a towel up above, just because of condensation. Gets quite a bit, which is why you don't want to do this usually inside. For at least the whole thing, this is probably minimal. We've got the fans going. So Jay's got the digital thermometer. He's watching. Gotta be very, very careful on not going over. And then we also have the tools for measuring the sugar content that we'll get ready. It's been about 45 minutes since we came in. The pans in here have cooked down quite a bit. We're still at 211 for temperature. But we will be getting ready here as they continue to cook down and get up to temp. We will then, as we get closer, we'll start using our tool to measure the sugar content. Want to make sure that this top red line, that we get as close to it as possible here, without going under. So that's our goal, and we will be filtering. I put 2 of the pre-filters together, and then we've got this cloth filter that we will actually run hot water in, and then add these in there, and then we'll run it through, put these inside the cloth filter, so it filters through these first, and that should help with going through there. And then we've got the canning jar here, where we'll just fill it up, and then let then anything that gets through, any niter or anything that comes in, settle for a day or 2 before we actually move and can it and jar it officially. just filtered off out of the spigot, off the pan, these 3 pots. And now I'm going to bring these in to finish inside. You can see they're much darker than the first batches we did. I had them running all day long. I then just added some extra sap from the trees from today. I just grabbed to help cool it down a little bit. And then this I will drain off the pan completely, I think, tomorrow. And I'll boil the rest of this probably on our propane burner out on the front porch, so I can do that while I'm working. So, did pretty good. We have 7 cups of maple syrup so far from the first 2 days of trying out our new evaporator. Getting the hang of keeping the temperature up and checking all that. Sorry, back. There we go. So yeah, so filtering's going well. Just have to, okay, that's pretty much empty, which is great. So the warming pan, that'll come off. I'm gonna go in, get these going on the oven, and then I will come back out. I've shut the flue and everything, so this is already cooling down quite a bit. And I'll come back and check it in a little while. Out here, it's about, I don't know, maybe 38 degrees, 40 degrees, something like that. And raining. And I'm out here collecting sap. It's just got probably about 5.5 gallons. Still got more to do, but I'm really glad the rack lowers so I could actually pour it in here. I'm too short, otherwise the way Jay had it. So kind of a nice feature. I need some lights or something back here. I think might be lit lights, but maybe they're not hooked up or something. But yeah, I'm gonna keep going. Got maybe 10 taps left. All right. Got the tractor back inside. I'm guessing between 11 and 13 gallons. I didn't really pay attention because I was trying to do it pretty quick as it's raining pretty good. So I switched out the barrel we've been using last week that I haven't washed out yet for the second barrel that we have before I went out today. So this is this week's collection going forward, although yesterday I did steal some from the trees to put in the evaporator to help cool it down and stay overnight before I finish that sap off. So at this point, I think we're over the weekend, the 3 days plus today, I had somewhere around 53, 54 gallons of sap that we boiled down, and we've made just under 1.5 gallons. So not bad ratio. Normal ratio is about 40-to-1 sap to syrup. And then it's so miserable out. The sap is running really good right now, so I will need to actually go out and check them in the morning, probably in the rain still, which is not really fun. But we'll thankfully have the tractor and the rack all set up, and I got it all situated now, so it's easy for me to lower it, and I've got the controls going, and I do need to watch the diesel level this week, and potentially give JoJo a little bit more diesel, but not get stuck out in the woods somewhere. But tomorrow's supposed to be 60 degrees, so I have a feeling the sap will continue to run. It's going to stay low 40s, high 30s tonight, here, and then it's going to go into another deep freeze for 3 days or so. A huge snowstorm coming Friday, it sounds like. So we'll see how it goes, but that was not so much fun. Nice and rainy and dreary, and now I'm soaked through, so I'm going to go inside and warm up. But yeah, we'll keep on updating you guys probably about once a week or so on the maple syrup progress. And also, I need to start seeds. I'm really late starting my seeds, so I will be doing videos on those coming up. Thanks for watching.